Dear students, this is Imran Kazmi and we are going to study our 37th lecture of Programming Fundamentals. In the previous lecture, we were working on object-oriented programming. We have discussed the properties of OOP and did some programming practices using classes and objects. In this course of Programming Fundamentals, only object-oriented programming introduction is included. So we just has to introduce the properties of object-oriented programming, and we have to introduce the basic programming skills of this course. While in the next semester, we'll have to study this course object-oriented programming in detail. So as far as introduction is concerned, we have done some basic introduction of object-oriented programming. So from now onward, we will revise our course of Programming Fundamentals. So dear students, ऐसे बच्चे जिन्होंने इस कोर्स को पहले फोकस इतना अच्छा नहीं किया या क्लासेस जिनकी कोई रह गई हैं, तो उनके लिए ये ज़रूरी है कि वो रिवीजन जो कोर्सेज चल रहा है या रिवीजन प्रोग्राम को ख़ास तौर पे जो है वो रेगुलरली क्लासेस अटेंड करें. I will try to cover all the basic concepts of programming during revision of this course. So let's start from the basic definition. What is a computer program? A program is a set of instructions given to the computer which when executed perform the desired task. Program is nothing more than set of instructions. So always doing programming, please remember that you have to deliver the instructions to the computer which computer would understand and perform according to the given instructions. So instructions must be written in some programming language. We have three levels of programming languages: low level languages, middle level languages and high level languages. Low level language is a basic level of language that computer direct understand without any translation. Low level languages are mostly considered in the form of binary and machine codes. Program written in low level language do not need to be further converted into any level. They are directly understandable by the computer. While low level languages are difficult to understand and write program in this language. So on behalf of this difficulty, next level language, middle level language was introduced. Middle level languages use symbols and some English vocabulary. It's a mixture of both things, symbols and vocabulary. These are the vocabularies in English words and some symbols like this. So as earlier stated that computer understand only one level of language, that is low level language. So even though the program written in middle level language must also be translated into low level language so that it can be executed by the computer. While middle level languages are somehow little bit difficult for human understanding, and for complete understanding of humans, the higher level languages were introduced, named as high level languages. These high level languages are human understandable because they use a human vocabulary. For example, C++, Java, Pascal, COBOL, Fortran, Python, etc. But these high level languages need a translator that translate the program written in high level language into low level language so that it can be executed by the program. So while comparing three levels of languages, for a human most understandable languages is high level languages, and for computer low level languages are direct understandable. So if we say which one is the most faster language, faster program, we would say low level language program written in low level language would be the most fastest executing program because they do not need to be translated. So for programming languages we use high level languages, and high level languages need translators so that it can be converted into low level language and the low level language program can be executed. What is translator? Translator is a software that translates the program written in high level language into low level language or machine level language. We have three kinds of translators: compiler, interpreter and assemblers. Compiler and interpreters are used to convert program written in high level language into machine level language, while assembler is used to convert the program from assembly language to low level language. We have four basic types of instructions: type declaration instruction, arithmetic instructions, input output instructions and control instructions. The first type of instruction is type declaration instructions. Data before processing and after processing goes to RAM. So in RAM or memory we need to reserve space. So for this purpose, to reserve space, we need to declare the type of the data, because different types of data reserve different memory, as float reserve 4 bytes, integer 2 bytes and character 1 byte in C++, while in Java integer and float reserve 4 byte each. Variables and constants. Variables are those quantities whose values can be changed throughout the program, while constants are those quantities whose values cannot be changed throughout the program. Keywords are the words whose meanings are already defined to the computer, and we cannot use keywords as variables, because if we do so, it means that we are going to assign the new meaning to these words, and we cannot do this because keywords has already predefined meanings. For example, int, short, signed, unsigned, default, float, long, double. These are the keywords and we cannot use them as variable because they have predefined meanings. Type declaration instruction. The general syntax of type declaration instruction is int a. Here a is a variable name or variable and int is its type. So when int a is there, 2 bytes in C++ would be reserved and 4 bytes in Java would be reserved. So character C character type variable is declared and F is a float type variable is declared. To check the size in memory, you can use size of function. Size of int would return the number of bytes int would reserve in memory. The second type of instruction is arithmetic instructions. Arithmetic instructions are basically used for calculation purpose. We have arithmetic operators and assignment operators in arithmetic instructions. Arithmetic operators are plus, minus, multiplication, division and mod operator. Here we have two kinds of operators, unary arithmetic operators and binary arithmetic operators. Unary are those operators that work on single operand, and binary are those operators that work on two operands. For example, plus plus and minus minus, these are the operators that would work on single operand, while steric slash mod plus are the operators that works on two operands. Arithmetic instructions. Assignment operator. Assignment operator is used to assign a value to the left hand side of the variable. For example, over here, first x plus y plus z would be executed and the resultant value would be assigned to this variable sum. So the assignment operator assigns the value to the left hand side of the assignment operator. If we talk about the precedence of operators, the highest priority would be the operators included in parentheses. The next priority would be given to the steric slash and mod operator, and the lowest priority would be given to the plus and minus. So if a statement that include steric slash plus and minus, first we will complete steric and slash, and at the last we will give priority to plus and minus. So the operator that would have the same priority would execute it from left to right. Whichever the operator comes first from left to right will be executed first. For example, over here steric and slash have the same priority, but steric come first, so steric would be executed first and then slash. So 2 multiplied by 3 is 6 and then slash 4, then this would execute. The next type of instruction is input-output instruction. Input instructions are used to enter data into the memory, and output instructions are used to display data from the memory. The only difference is to enter and to display. So whenever you need to enter data from the keyboard, you need to use input instructions, and to display data from the memory to the output device, you need to use output instructions. In C++, Cin would be used for input data and Cout would be used for output instruction. Here semicolon would be statement terminator. That would show the end of the statement. For example, Cin x would be used to enter data or value of x, Cin y would be used to enter value of y, and when we are talking about Cin x and y, it means to enter the value of x and y from the keyboard. Output instructions. Output instruction is used to display data from the memory. Does not go to the output unit, rather it directly goes to RAM. So when data has been processed and it goes to RAM, it would not go directly to the output devices. Rather you have to display the data using Cout instructions. Cout instruction is our output instruction that would be used to display the value on the output screen. First basic program in C++. Cout is the output instruction. This is my first program. The sentence written in inverted commas would be displayed as it is उसमें कोई तब्दीली नहीं होगी। तो जब आपने लिखा सी आउट inverted commas, this is my first program, so whatever written in inverted commas would be displayed. The output of this program would be, this is my first program. If we talk about the data types in Java, int would reserve 4 bytes, long would reserve 8 bytes, short would reserve 2 bytes, and the byte data type would reserve 1 byte. Similarly, float, that would be used for decimal point, would reserve 4 bytes, and double would reserve 8 bytes. Float and double would be used for the decimal values, while int, long, short and byte would be used for whole numbers. This is the simple program in Java to add two numbers. For example, three variables are declared, A, B and C. The output instruction in Java is system.out.println. In C++, the output instruction is cout, while in Java we have output instruction system.out.println. First value inverted commas, whatever written in inverted comma would be displayed. The first value A equal to 10, second value B equal to 20, C equal to A plus B. The value of A and B would be added and the resultant value would be assigned to C. So 30 would be assigned to C. And system.out.println, sum equal to would be displayed as it is, plus C, the value of C would be displayed with sum equal to. So the result of this program would be sum equal to 30. Similarly, if three numbers has to be added in using Java, we have to declare float A, B, C and D, three numbers and their average. So ABC would be used for three numbers, D for sum and AVG for average. Here ABC 10, 20, 30, D would have their sum and average would have their average. So system.out.println would be used for sum separately and for average separately. You can use in the single statement to display both sum and average. To input data using Java, we need to use input stream reader along with buffer reader. Buffer reader class str object, new would create its object, and this statement would be used to add an input stream to input data from the keyboard. First, the data would be read as string and that would be assigned to the variable s. Then using integer.parseInt, this s would be converted into integer. Similarly, to convert string into float, float.parseFloat, and similarly double.parseDouble to convert string into double. So whatever you need to convert, if you need to convert the string into integer, then use integer.parseInt. So in this way, we will get the value of A, we will get the value of B, and we will get the value of C. Then these three variables would be added and average would be calculated. And we will use system.out to display the sum and average of three numbers, and the numbers are input from the keyboard. Decision statement. In computer programming, we need to take separate or many decisions. For example, if the person age is equal to or greater than 18 years, then he would be given the driving license. So over here the decision is involved. If the age is greater than 18 years, then the driving license will be granted. If the height of the player is not lesser than 6 feet, then he can join basketball team. So again over here we have a decision, and the decision is that height must be greater than 6 feet to join the basketball team. Less than 6 feet would not be allowed to join the basketball team. Similarly, minimum marks to qualify for the next class is 50%. So lesser than 50%, student would not be allowed to qualify for the next class. Similarly, bonus is granted on minimum 5-year service. Lesser than 5 year, bonus would not be granted. If statement. For decision making, the first basic statement would be if statement. If condition is true, the statement would be executed. And if the condition is false, statement would not be executed. The dependent statement would depend upon this condition. If the condition is true, the statement would be executed, and if the condition is false, statement would not be executed. For example, if Ali's height is greater than 6 feet, then he can become the member of the basketball team. So the condition is height 6 feet. So if this condition get true, the statement would be executed. The general syntax of if statement: if condition and then statement. If this condition gets true, then this statement would execute. But if this condition gets false, this statement would not execute. If statement, if condition and statements. तो यहाँ पे डियर स्टूडेंट थोड़ा सा डिफरेंस है. If you need to include only one statement, then you do not need to use parentheses. But if you have more than one statement depending upon certain condition, then these parentheses must be included. So for a single statement, parentheses are optional, but for multiple statements to get them dependent, you need to use parentheses. तो याद रखें, अगर एक से ज़्यादा स्टेटमेंट्स को डिपेंडेंट लाना है तो उसके लिए पैरेंथेसिस को आप ज़रूर शामिल करें, लेकिन एक स्टेटमेंट के लिए पैरेंथेसिस ऑप्शनल है. सो फॉर मल्टीपल स्टेटमेंट्स, ऑलवेज मेक देम इन कंपाउंड यूजिंग पैरेंथेसिस. फॉर कंडीशन मेकिंग, we need certain operators: lesser than, equal to, greater than, and not equal to. These operators would be used in developing conditions. Similarly, we have logical operators. These are the relational operators: less than, lesser than, equal to, and likewise. And we have logical operators and or. For or we use double pipe sign. For and we use double and sign, and for not we use this explanatory expression. So not is a unary operator. True को false कर देगा और false को true कर देगा, while and or would be used to combine conditions to make expression. If and would come between two conditions, it means that both conditions must be true to get the overall expression true. And if or comes between two conditions, it means that any of the condition is true, then the expression is true. Logical AND gives the result true if both the conditions are true, otherwise the result is false. And similarly, OR gives result false if both the conditions are false, and if any of the condition is true, OR give result true. The extension in if The second statement, decision statement, if else, if condition, then statements, else, then statements. Over here, else represent is used for otherwise. अगर कंडीशन ट्रू हो जाती है तो ये स्टेटमेंट्स एग्जीक्यूट होंगी, और अगर कंडीशन फॉल्स हो जाती है तो कंट्रोल एल्स में चला जाएगा और ये स्टेटमेंट्स एग्जीक्यूट होंगी. सो ट्रू होने पे ये स्टेटमेंट्स और फॉल्स होने पे कंट्रोल एल्स में जाएगा और एल्स वाली स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट करेगा. General flow chart of if else. First of all, the condition would be checked. If the condition is true, process 1 would execute, and if the condition is false, control would go in else and process 2 would execute. Thank you very much. In the next class, हम if else से आगे काम स्टार्ट करेंगे. होपफुली आप इफ एल्स तक जो है वो चीज़ों को एक दफ़ा फिर रिवाइज कर लेंगे, और अगर कोई मसला होगा तो आप मेरे साथ डिस्कस करेंगे. थैंक यू वेरी मच.